All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the How Can I Support My Child series. Am I live? Oh no, Instagram is still having a challenge. All right, sorry, we've had the most difficult network today. Welcome to the How Can I Support My Child series. I am believing that you can see me and you can hear me. Please, if you can, do let me know that you can see me and you can hear me so that I can shoot. Kindly just say this in the comment section because we are still having some signs of trouble here. The network being a challenge. The show usually will happen on at 7 p.m., but we had to move the show to 8 p.m. today just because of the network issue, and we're hoping that we will get a better, okay? And we're hoping that we will get a better network. All right, I'm just going to go ahead believing and trusting that you can see me and you can hear me. All right, today we are looking at the topic um how can I understand each of my children? How can I identify my child's uniqueness in order for me to support them effectively? How do we identify how different each of our children are, and of course, support them knowing that they are different, or support them based on their uniqueness. Understanding our children is not a destination but a journey, dear parents. Okay, it's a journey of discovery. It is a continuous process of learning, adapting, and celebrating their individuality. Welcome to the How Can I Support My Child series. That show where we work with parents, or where we share ideas and we share strategies and we share resources and we share tips on how you can be that parent who knows what to do, how you can position yourself to be an amazing support system to your child so that you can teach your child how to also support themselves. My name is Maribeth Chima, and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources. And yes, I am also the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle, a peer mentorship and accountability group that we run for young children and preteens because we want to equip more and more children to take the front stage in their own lives. We want children to understand that they are the chief pilots, that they are the captains of their lives. And so we want them to start taking initiative. We want them to start owning their journey. We want them to start directing themselves, and we want them to make the best of their lives, knowing full well that we will always be there as their parents, as their mentors, as their coaches, as their teachers, as their friends, to support them. So, dear parents, how well do you know your child? This is the question that we are asking today. Don't try to make your child, or don't try to fit your child into a mold. Instead, it is important that we are celebrating the beauty and the uniqueness of each of our children, and that we are using the knowledge of this to support them to become the best versions of themselves. So I'm going to be using a case study. So this class is especially for you if you are a parent of a toddler or a parent of a young child. All right. If you're a parent of a young child or a parent of a toddler, then this class is, sorry, just give me a second. This class is for you. All right. It works for other parents. But if you're a parent of a toddler or a young child, it will do you a lot of good to pay attention to this class. So I'm going to be using a case study of my two children, all right, to share with you in this class. All right. So let's take both of them as child A and child B. All right. Sorry, this is not doing well. Sorry, just give me a second. The noise that is here. All right. Sorry about this. I have something that is making some noise in the background. All right. Let's see if that works. Sorry about this. Was trying to sort out something. All right. Sorry, that's a distraction. Just give me a second to sort this out. Just give me a second, please, to sort this. I have something that is quite distracting around here, and if I don't sort it out, it'll continue to be a distraction. All right, it doesn't seem like we can do much about it, so we'll just go ahead without it. All right, so sorry about that. Okay. All right, so as I said, I'm going to be using two children as your case study, as my case study for today's session. So think of them right now as child A and child B. All right. So I'll give you a bit of description of what child A is like and what child B is like, and then we can take it from there. Now, child A a very is a child who loves to move. All right. So my child A is a child who loves to move, a child who is very sensitive. All right. So a child who loves to move, a child who is very sensitive, a child who is very critical, right? A child who is a bit of a melancholic, right? That is the child that is reserved, and all of that. Right. Now, my child A, now, what I do, what I do to my network is glitchy. Sorry about this. Change the network. The network has been a problem the whole of the evening. Change it there, but it seems to be back. So let's just have faith and then move on. All right. So I was saying, child A loves to move a lot. Child A loves to talk a lot. Child A is sensitive, and child A is a bit of reserve. Can get into moods here and there. It's a bit of what we call a melancholic, right? Someone who is a bit critical about things, doesn't easily, associate with people like that, and all of that. Now, as a parent, if this is your child or your child, this sounds anything like your child, that child that likes to play alone, right? Your toddler that doesn't have a problem with just sitting down and playing by themselves. That child that can actually scoot for hours, and while he's doing that, he's talking to his pretend friends, he's having a great time with himself. This is your child A. Now, what do you do, right, to identify the uniqueness of this child? What do you do to pay attention to the uniqueness of this child? Now, what you want to do is you want to observe their communication style. How does the child communicate? Does the child pay close attention to, you're paying close attention to how they talk. All right. Is the child fast paced when the child is talking? Is the child expressive when the child is talking? I would need to do something about this because it's really hot here. Give me a second. Let me see if I can do anything about this. Again, okay, awesome. Awesome, 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 awesome. All right, I think that is sorted. I was having so much background noise here, and I needed to sort that out because it was being a very, very big distraction. All right, I'm so sorry about that. We are back now. So I am talking about child A. I said for the purpose of this class, I'll be using the case study of two of my children. So let's call them, in fact, let's call them by their name. So let's call them by their name, K, and then, of course, Mommy. I call my daughter Mommy. All right, so let's talk about that. All right, so this is child A, all right, child one, K, and K is that child that loves to move a lot, right? And I'm talking about them as toddlers because we are focusing, right, on the toddler phase of our children's life. We're looking at that time, when they are young children and toddlers. How can we identify the difference or the uniqueness in our children so that we now know how to support them effectively? All right, remember this show is mainly for parents of young children and toddlers. All right, so we're here to help you learn how to equip your children so that you can help them, so that you can support them effectively. All right, so yes, so that child is that person that loves to move. The child is that person that is sort of a melancholy, can play with themselves. We call them one man army. All right, the child is sensitive, right? The child is sensitive. The child is fine playing with other children, but the child tends to be okay even when there are not other people to different things that happen. Sorry, the network is fluctuating on Facebook and on YouTube. All right, so how do we identify the uniqueness in this child? Number one, you want to observe their communication style. How does this child communicate? All right, you want to watch them. Is the child fast paced when the child is talking? Is the child expressive when the child is talking? Do they use a lot of gesture? All right, or is this child someone that is not verbally expressive? You want to pay attention because you can actually have, that child who is reserved, and all of that, and the child can actually talk, like my case. My child was actually a talkative, but then again, you will now notice that talk with everybody. He was more like, especially with his parents and with us his parents, and then with people that he was comfortable around. Okay, you want to observe how they connect with people or how they associate, right, in social situations. Do they get easily overwhelmed? Okay, do they like loud noisy crowds, or do they just like it when it's just a few of you? Do they seem to pick on others emotions, right, easily? All right, are they emotionally, right, conscious? Right, are they do they pick on other people? Do they pay attention to the way other people feel, especially when they share their toys or things like that? Are they willing to share their toys? Are they willing? And then when they probably snatch their toys from other people, do they bother whether the other child is crying, or do they just walk away whether or not the child is crying? Like, they do not respond to other people's emotions. You want to pay attention to all of this. Now we are talking about how to identify your child's uniqueness so that you know how to support them effectively, especially when they are toddlers and young children and they cannot express and say to you, I like this or I don't like this. Remember, I shared in one of our groups, our toddler parents group, I think on Facebook too, I shared how the first 3 years of a child's life are the most critical times of their life. In fact, you can stretch that a little bit, right, to about 6. All right, because in the first window of opportunity, or the first window of the child's life, where the most rapid growth and the most authentic kind of learning can happen, the first 3 years, and then of course the next 3 years after that, very critical times. Now, this is the period we are talking about. How can we maximize our children's potential during this phase of their life? It is important that we know who we are raising, so that we're not raising the children that we do not have. We're raising the one that we have. Now, how do you identify their uniqueness during this phase? That's what we're talking about. I just shared a case study of child one, my first child. You perhaps look at it that way, right? And what it is that this child was like. And then, if this is the case, if this is the kind of child that you have, what can you do to begin to understand the child more, to know who it is that you are dealing with, or who it is that you are raising? Analyze their play. Number two, you want to analyze their play. How do they engage with toys and activities? Watch your children. Is that child the child that is all cuddly? Is the child the one that is kind to their toy? Is the child the one that is constantly being the dad or the mom, and he is constantly, or she's constantly whooping their toys, right? All of these things are very key, so that you know the child that you are raising, so that you know the effect of your environment on that child. All right, you want to find out, do they fleet, right? Do they flee from one thing, to another quickly, or do they pay attention and stay on one thing for a long period? All right, do they like, or do they prefer active games, right? Or do they focus on one activity and remain on that activity for long? Do they enjoy playing with others, or do they just prefer solitary, right? Do they just prefer solitary activities? You want to pay attention to this. Observe how your child handles their frustration when they cannot get their way, or when they cannot piece out something, or when they cannot solve a problem, while they are playing. Find out how your child reacts. Does the child get frustrated? Does the child, stay in there and continue to push on? Is the child excited about solving problems? Oh my God. Is a child excited about solving problems? Okay, you want to find out. The next thing you want to do is you want to note their physical expressions. All right, you want to note that. Do they fidget, or do they move around a lot even when they are seated? Is the child the one that is constantly restless? Attention span is so low. Is your child constantly fidgeting? Can the child stay in his spot and work on something for a long period of time? You want to know that. Also, do they express emotions physically? Do they love jumping? Do they love hugging? Do they love, do they love to play? Do they love to play with you? Do they love to hug you? Do they love to enjoy time being with you? Or would they rather be all by themselves? Okay, do they love, are they constantly, in a joyful place, or are they constantly in a moody place? You want to pay attention to this. All right, now we're still talking about that melancholic child that tends to, be by themselves a lot of the time. That child that doesn't like to talk with a lot of people. That child that doesn't talk a lot in school, but tends to talk at home. Okay, we're still looking at that child. The child loves to move. The child is boisterous, all right, but it's just that it can be a one-man army. It doesn't need to do this with a group of people. Right, you want to pay attention, right, so that you can know their uniqueness beyond just looking at that generally. You want to pay close attention, right, especially when your child is playing. Play is the job of a child, and play is how children learn, and play is how children express themselves. So if you want to see a child in their full element, then you need to observe the child when the child is in their play moment, whether they are playing with you or they are playing individually. All right, you want to pay attention to this. The fifth thing that you're going to be looking at, and the final one, is observe. I mean, this is not conclusive like it has to be this five, but I'm focusing on this five areas for the purpose of this class, which, by the way, should be between 30 minutes and 40 minutes, and we are gone. All right, number 5, observe their responses to different environments. How do they react, or how do they react to changes in their routine? How do they react when they are away from home, when you take them to places where they are not comfortable, or they don't know the people, right, as much as the people in their home? When you take them to the homes of friends, right, and distant relatives, okay, how do they react? Do they thrive in structured settings, or do they prefer more flexibility? You need to pay attention to this. How do they handle transition, moving from one place to the next, or moving from one activity to the next activity? Do they get anxious in new situations, or do they know how to blend in whatever situation they find themselves? Now, when you have identified this, now what you will find is going to be different, okay? Or they will, it's going to be relative to you, right? We won't all get the same result. But now I am talking about my own child, right? And, our observation, right, based on all of this. What we had to do based on this observation. So I'm going to share how to support this kind of child, or how we supported our child based on what we found out. So number one, we provided a lot of opportunity for movement. Yes. So we provided a lot of opportunity for movement. So we would make time and we would go out. So we used to do a lot of, so when our son was a toddler, we used to do a lot of outdoor play with him. So I had those days that even after work, I'm tired, I've come in, I've rested. We just go out, before it becomes dark. We go out and we just play outside. Sometimes we're rolling tires, sometimes we are just doing race, sometimes we're going for nature walks, other times we are going on a discovery we're going on a discovery what do you call it now, on a discovery walk. So you want to ensure that if your child is a child who loves to move, if that's who you find out, or you find out that your child is, all right, then you want to give them opportunity to move. You want to put, of course, you want to incorporate going to the park, and places like that, right, into your program, right, for the month. Even if it's once in a month, you want to put that in. Incorporate physical activities like into your daily routines. All right. This could include breaks for running, as I said, breaks for running around, dance parties, right? You can even have, enroll them for sports activity, or if you have sports facilities around your home, you can actually schedule that into your plan, and then you do that. At some point when our son was 6, I had to enroll him. We had to go and enroll him into a football academy. Not necessarily because he could play football so well. We didn't know that. We knew that he loved to talk football. He loved to watch football. And because he loves to run around, and of course he kicks things around the house, so we wanted to give him opportunity to run around. And so we took him to a football academy. It was while he was in that academy that we realized, oh, he loves to play football, all right, but football was not his strongest point. So if you are not discovering like this, and you are not creating opportunities like this, you are not going to be able to find out, right, the strength that they have, so that you know how to support them. Now, we also encourage verbal expressions, right, because of course he loved to talk a lot, all right, so we had to encourage rich language. So of course we had to model, right, rich language, how to actually communicate and how to pass whatever thoughts he had or whatever feelings he had, right, how to express them into, how to put them into words, so that he could be understood, especially for someone who likes to talk a lot. So it was important that he was communicating, or that he was articulating his thoughts, and he was communicating so that people understood him the way he wanted to be understood, and not just misunderstood. So it was important. For someone who loved to talk also, we needed to make sure that he wasn't talking rubbish. All right. So we had to help him add knowledge, a lot of knowledge into, we had to expose him to knowledge gathering. We had to expose him to knowledge gathering, so that when he has to talk to you, he is not just going on and on and on about a movie or something. He's not just going on and on about nonsense. Okay, so we equipped him with general knowledge, and so he started reading lots of books. We introduced reading, of course, right from when he was a little baby. Before he was born, we started reading. All right, and of course, when we found out that he was a child who loved to talk a lot, loved to move a lot, of course, so we introduced him to knowledge gathering, research, being able to do research, gather knowledge. So a lot of times he's talking to you. A good thing he now became interested in science. So a lot of times he's talking to you about something that he's discovered. Something that he he read about in science. One thing, there's always something to talk about, and his talking was meaningful. All right, so we needed to guide and direct, that part of him, right, to productive endeavors. So by the time our son was 7, right, going on 8, he started a YouTube channel where he was teaching science. Because we knew that he was someone who could talk a lot, we needed to help him, put that into productive use. And so we were going to use that to also help him learn how to articulate his thoughts and deliver the thought as meaningful, something that is valuable to other people. All right, so you want to consider things like that. Okay, listen attentively. We had to teach him how to pause and listen to other people. All right, so we will listen to him speak, we will validate his emotions, we will validate the things that he had to say. So you can imagine how it was really tough, right, coming back from work, being tired, and having to just sit there and listen to your toddler go on and on and on. All right, so we had to do that, and then gradually we started letting him understand when was the right time to talk. Oh, mommy's tired right now, can we have this, can we talk about this during dinner? All right, or when we're cooking. And so when we're cooking, we could have that conversation just to help him regulate, right, just to help him regulate the times that he's talking and all of that. We also had to help him understand when someone is not flowing with him or feeling the conversation, so that he doesn't become a burden to people, talking on and on and on to people who are not interested. So these are all of the things. All right, structure their environment. Of course, we had to create structure in our environment, right? We had to create a lot of structure in our environment, because now this is a child that is boisterous. This is a child that loves to move and all of that. The thing is, we realize that if we don't create structure, if there are no routines and system in our home, it meant that this child could go on and on and on and on the entire day, because the energy was energy. All right, he had so much energy. All right, so we had to create structure. Okay, so why they can enjoy spontaneous or spontaneity, why they can enjoy spontaneous play and all of that, we are able, or they are able to predict, right? We're able to predict what it is that happens in our home. So predictability is one of the ways that you create stability for children. So if you want to raise stable children, then you must incorporate routines into your family system, so that your child knows what to expect per time. This will help them, of course, become stable people. And this will help you not micromanage your home. It will help you teach the children to direct themselves, to take initiative, and to manage themselves. Self leadership is very key. All right, so we needed to do that also. All right, so we can help them know how to, direct himself, and of course, help him learn not to overwhelm himself with all of those activities back to back. Okay, of course, so we give him advance. Okay, we give them advance notice of what it is that is going to change if it's not something that is part of our routines. We create plans, of course. So we started doing vision boarding, creating plans for the year. So at the beginning of the year, we sit together and we create plans. From time to time, we revisit our plans. Okay, we look at our plans every quarter. We look at the plans, and all of that. So this way, we're able to create stability, and then we're able to teach him to what is important per time, prioritizing the time and knowing that there's time for everything. All right, the next thing you would like to do is you want to teach emotional regulation. Okay, apply emotional regulation strategies. All right, so for our son, remember I said he had a tinge of melancholy right there. So one moment, right, so he could be boisterous the whole time, and then at some point he is quiet. He doesn't feel like talking, he doesn't feel like doing, he could just be in that space. He goes to party, he's not interested in dancing, he's not interested in doing what other people are doing in school. It is time for a presentation, he's at the back of the presentation, because he's not easily interested in what it is that other people are doing and all of that. So of course we had to help him balance all of that, the social life, and balance his emotions and all of that. All right, so help them identify and manage their emotions in healthy ways. Teach the child how to identify and to name what emotion it is that they are going through per time. So begin to teach that to your toddlers by and your young children by asking open-ended questions. What happened? Okay, or something just happened. All right, I see that you are feeling upset right now, or I see what happened. Or you're asking the child, would you like to share with me what it is that you're going through right now, or what happened that you feel the way you feel? And then the child tells you, so how did that make you feel when that happened? Okay, or how are you feeling right now? The child is able to talk to you and express themselves and express how they feel concerning every situation or concerning the situation that you're talking about. When you do this, you teach the child to identify their emotions, to talk about them, to go through those emotions and to come out of the emotions. While you are doing this, you are offering support to the child. You are modeling to the child how to deal with emotions. You're modeling to the child how to communicate their emotions, and all of that. Of course, you want to also teach them emotional control strategies, right? Or yes, strategies and exercises, things like breathing exercises. So today our daughter was at a spelling bee competition, all right, and she had gone through a number of rounds and she lost. I mean, she made a mistake in one of her questions. Anyway, she got off, the competition. And so I could see her after she lost it, how she was really, the emotion was overwhelming. So I watched her right there on stage begin to do the breathing exercise, that she took a deep breath and then she she was in and out, and then she turned and started walking away from the stage, trying to hold that, I mean, trying to control that emotion using a technique that we have learned, over and over again, until the emotion became so overwhelming. By the time she came out and she met me, and then she poured it, all out, but then again, we have to consistently teach them how to navigate their emotions and basically how to regulate them. All right, so basically, all right, so breathing exercises, mindful techniques, or how to express their feelings constructively. These are all ways, okay, that you can help them. All right, the next one is provide opportunity for social interactions for this kind of children. All right, so if you don't help them connect, or if you don't create opportunities for them to connect with other people, chances are they won't go out of their way. So you will have to create opportunities. So play dates, very important. All right, find people who share the same values. Stop saying, oh, I don't like you, I don't have friends, I don't like to be with people, so my children are my friends. Those things are not right. Okay, help your children build a social, build a social connection, build social connection, all right, or a small tribe for your child, and help them learn how to manage relationships starting from there. So encourage them to interact with other children in structured settings. Okay, that's what I'm talking about, such as play dates, group activities. Help them to develop their social skills by going to small gatherings, small camping activities, small learning activities. It could be for a paint and sip, activity. Just get them to go out there and be in gatherings where they're encouraged, or right, where they're encouraged to work in teams with other people, to connect with other people, to have conversations. So the child may be withdrawn, but the child is still a child. If the child is not reaching out to a child, another child will reach out to them, and before you know it, you will see your child lost in a conversation with other people, right? But if you're going to keep them at home and so he doesn't like to play with other people, you are doing the child a disservice. All right, I would really love to take you through child 2, but we need to go. I need to end the show at 40 minutes exactly, so I'm going to rush through child 2. All right, so child 2 likes to create stuff. All right, so child 2 is creative, is a sanguine, meaning is the life of the party, is a happy, always happy, joyous kind, of person, disorganized, not very organized, okay? Not very organized, doesn't take, a lot of things too seriously, just wants to enjoy herself, and, just chill, basically. So this is child two, loves to create, great imagination and all of that. Now, what do you do to find the uniqueness of this child, or to understand the uniqueness of this child more? Observe their creative process, okay? Your child loves to create and all of that. Don't just say, oh, she likes to do things. You need to observe, like inviting them to play, inviting them to constructive plays, right? So you want to create, or you want to provide resources in your environment that invites your child to play, basically. So get different resources in different areas that you would like to invite them to explore. Create opportunities for exploration for this kind of child. Always have cardboard, papers, and scissors, safe, materials that your child can explore, with the child, around, basically. And then observe their process. How do they approach creative activities? Do they plan meticulously? Because you could find out that one child plans meticulously, puts it together, knows what she wants to do, knows what she wants to do or what he wants to do, achieves it, stays on from the beginning to the end. You can have another child who touches one thing and then dumps it, goes to create another one, dumps it, and then creates a lot of mess around. You want to pay attention. Do they get easily frustrated, or do they persevere through challenges? You want to pay attention to this. Do they enjoy working independently, or do they have more fun in collaboration with you or with their friends? You will see this kind of ones will even invite their friends. It could be that child that is constantly asking you, Mommy, can this person come to my house this weekend? Can that one come to my house next weekend? Can I go to this one's house? So you know that that child is a collaborative person. You want to pay attention to this child that is posterior, this child that is creative, this child that is the life of the party, this child that likes to do fun things. You want to pay attention. All right, so this is my child too. All right, now analyze their creation. What kind of things do they create, so that you know what your child is particularly interested in? Are they drawn to visual arts? Is he music? Is he writing? You want to pay attention to this. Even right from when they were little, you would know. Even at 1 and 2, you would know your child that is drawn to music. No sound can pass. The child makes sense. Even when they begin to clap things together, they have rhythm in the things that they are clashing together. You will listen to your 3-year-old drum, using a tin, and the melody will make sense. All right, you know that the child already has ears or has something for music. You want to pay attention to that, okay? Or other forms of creative expressions. Pay attention. What themes or ideas do they explore in their work? Remember, play is the child's work. Okay, so when your child is at work, what does the child consistently, if you pay attention, you will find that there are certain things that the child is consistently doing. Okay, even if they do other things, but you see that one, it always appears over and over again. Then you know there is an interest in this area. What themes? Yes. What materials and tools do they prefer to use? As you pay attention, you will know this. So there was a season in my son's life that all he wanted to do was make cars. So then he said he wanted to start a company called All Track. That's why I can never forget. All Track. So he wanted to build cars, always. And those were the times he would sit all by himself. He would create different models of car and all of that. By the time he grew older, he started creating less and less and less of that. And then all of a sudden, we didn't see him creating cars anymore. But you need to pay attention. Now, those times that he was creating cars, I would go to the craft shop. I would buy small tires, big tires. I just buy materials and put them at home that will aid or support that creativity. Very important. Okay, note their problem solving style. Okay, how do they approach challenges? Are they resourceful, or are they innovative? Are they resourceful and innovative? Okay, or do they think outside the box? Do they enjoy puzzles and brain teasers? Or do they just touch on one thing, dump it, and touch on the next one and dump it and all of that? So is this creativity just a bit of noise because the child is restless and needs something to do? Per time, you need to pay attention to all of that. Number 4, listen to their ideas. What are they passionate about? Pay attention to this. What do they dream about? What are their lofty ideas? What are their lofty dreams? What are the visions that they see? What are those stories that they tell you that do not make sense to you, but you see them stay on that story, and they are continuing with that story? The story doesn't end, but they are going somewhere. Just pay attention. You will be tired sometimes, but I beg you, pay attention, parents, okay? Observe their engagement with the world. How do they express their joy and enthusiasm? Okay, pay attention. How do they seem to have do they seem to have a general outlook to life? Are they easily motivated? Are they easily inspired? Do they want to do anything? Do they come up with ideas and see those ideas through? All right. And when you offer them, ideas, do they pay attention? Do they listen to you? All right. Now you need to find out all of this so that you know the uniqueness of this particular kind of child. Now, how can you support them? Number one, provide opportunity for creative expression. Yes, your child is a creative, your child's imagination is wild, your child loves to solve problems. Your child loves to use the things in his environment to innovate things and to create things. Then you want to create opportunities for this. Give them access to a variety of art supplies, musical instruments, writing materials based on what you have observed. Okay, you can provide all of this, at the beginning where you see that they are creative, and observe them. With time, you will see which materials that the children turn to more. And then after a while, you can now pin it to a particular material, and then you provide more of that, for your child. All right, so that they can explore, okay, the tools, provide the tools that they need, the resources that they need, so that they can explore their creativity. Very important. Number two, encourage experimental exploration. Yes, let them try different things, and let them, don't be afraid to, don't be afraid to allow them make a mess. The creativity is in the mess. All right, the creativity is in the mess, the innovation, is in the mess. So allow them. Foster a spirit of playfulness and discovery. Join them in those activities sometimes. Okay, join them in those activities sometimes. Make sure that you are there to do all the wows and all the great idea, amazing, awesome. Right, be there to affirm them, be there to show an interest in the work that they are doing. They need your affirmation. Provide constructive feedback. Right, provide constructive feedback. Offer specific and encouraging feedback to your child. All right, when they create the things that they create, applaud their efforts, applaud their ideas, applaud their efforts. Right, the work that they put, or the time that they put into the work that they do. Focus on the process rather than on the final product. Parents, focus on the fact that the child is motivating themselves. All right, so very, very key. Number four, celebrate every tiny little success. Your creative needs your encouragement. Your creative child needs your support. Your creative child needs to know that you see them. It is how you offer, how you celebrate their success, that tells them that you see them. I promise you, if you see them, then they want to do more. If you see them, then they want to motivate them. That alone is motivating for them to transfer that motivation into intrinsic motivation. Just the little motivation that comes from you being interested is enough, right, for the child to actually, get a boost in their own ability to motivate themselves. All right, display their artwork, display the things that they create, display them, in your room. Look at me, this is my table. See my daughter's artwork always here. I have some of them. Always have one thing that they have done. Put them around you. Let them know that they are appreciated first by you. How will they know that the world will accept them when you, who is their parent, have not even accepted them? Some of you, my children make cards for us. We don't throw a single one of them. I have like a whole box full of my children's cards, from Valentine to birthdays to anniversary to Christmas, all of it, together, no throwing nothing. They need to know that they are that important, and that the effort that they make to honor you is that important to you. All right, so acknowledge and appreciate their creativity and accomplishments by displaying them. Listen to their music, listen to their arts, listen to their poetry. When they have presentations in school, in whatever place of their expression, show up for them. Be their number one cheerleaders. This is how your creative child will become more confident and, of course, will believe in themselves. This is how you help them build or boost, right, their self convictions, or sorry, their sense of self-worth, basically. All right, now the last one is connect with them. Okay, connect them with other creatives. Connect your child with other people who are like them. Connect them with other people who are interested in the things that they are interested in. Connect them with other people who are walking their journey like them. Connect them with other people who are doing meaningful things like them. Okay, so that's why we run the mastermind circle. It's a gathering of masterminds, children who are already on the path to walking their purpose. And so we want them to see that there are many other children, hundreds of them like them, who are already on this path, walking their purpose, discovering, their superpowers, and using it to be a blessing to the world, so that they can see that those their friends in school, or all of those friends that they have, who do not tend to think that it is important to do all the amazing things that we do or that they do, those friends who do not think that the things that your parents say make sense, because in my own house I can watch TV whenever I like. In my own house I have this gadget, I have that. So these are the kind of people that our children see in school and see out there a lot of times. Now, if you don't introduce them in communities, okay, or in platforms like the mastermind circle, where they can see other children who are already working towards self-development, working towards actualizing, right, building their potential and becoming the best version of themselves. They don't see other children who are taking initiative, other children who are already using their superpowers to be a blessing to the world, other children who are increasing in their value, other children who understand how to love and honor their parents. If they don't see, they don't behold other people, and they don't start having this kind of conversations, then your children will be having conversations that leave them entitled. The kind of conversations that make them come back home and ask you for the latest iPhones. Conversations that make them come home and insist that you give them Nike Air. All those conversations that make them focus on superficial things, right? Your child cannot come and be with us in the mastermind, and things like that are your children's problems. Things like that do not come up in gatherings like that. So your children learn to focus on meaningful things that have got depth. They begin to have conversations on meaningful things that can that can improve, help them improve, and help them focus on the things that are important, like their academics, like building their talents into skills, like helping them recognize that they are leaders and building that leadership skill, basically helping them understand that the world is waiting for them to come and be a blessing. And so helping them know that they were created to be impact makers and influencers in the world, basically. Okay. And I'm not talking about the kind of influencing that we're talking about the value that you have, creating solutions that's a blessing to the people, and so impacting people with the kind of value that you bring to the table. So if your children are not in places like the mastermind circle as early as possible. Why is your 5-year-old not with us already? Why is your 6-year-old not with us already? Because when they come, we start these conversations early. When we start these conversations early, your children start talking meaningful things, understanding meaningful things, understanding what their priorities should be, So by the time they become 13 and 14, they already have their heads in the right place. So that way you don't get into those teenage parent tussle when you say you need to leave these distractions and focus on what is important. You are fighting with your teenagers because you didn't start this journey early to help them understand the things that are important and keep their head in the places that are important. We are having conversations about, have you done your devotional? Oh, what are you doing right now? We're having conversations about children saying, I have started a new project. We're having conversations about children saying, oh, I have collaborated with this, my friend, and we are doing this together. We're having those kind of conversations. Some people are still in the place. You're having conversations about which shoe you would buy, which shirt everybody's wearing, that if they don't have, they will die. You're still having conversations that are based, or you know that is coming from an entitlement mentality. But if you do not position your children in the right environment, you will continue to have these kind of conversations, because we are not programming our children to be resourceful teenagers. Thank you for joining me for the Skill Up Show today. And thank you for being patient with us, with all of the network challenges, the change of time and all of that we had to go through. We do not take your time, and we do not take the fact that you give us access to be a part of your parenting journey for granted. So thank you again. If you would like your child to be a part of the Mastermind Circle, funny enough, we close registration for the Mastermind Circle for this year by tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Friday. In fact, we'll leave it till Sunday, the weekend. Monday, all registrations are shut for the Mastermind 2025 enrollment, so that we can focus on the children and achieve with the children the curriculum that we have put together for them for the year. We don't want the distraction of children coming in halfway when we're already gone, and so they are lost and all of that. So if your child is not in this circle yet, you're doing them a disservice, especially for the younger ones. You need a community that is close knitted. You need a community where we see them, because this is what they need during this phase of their life. They need people who see them, mentors who see them, people who are in tune with what is going on with them, daily. We need that. All right. So thank you very much. The information that you need to join the Mastermind Circle is scrolling right now on your screen. You can screen grab it. Okay. You would also see it in the comment section or in the description on YouTube after this class, and you can use that to enroll your child for the Mastermind Circle 2025. Come Monday, after Sunday evening, 12 midnight, we will shut the Mastermind Circle for 2025 and start getting ready for 2026. Thank you for joining me again. And yes, if your child is 5, then your child can join us. Children between 5 and 14. We graduate the children when they turn 14. So if your child is 14 this year and it's going to be 14 from now till August, the child can still join us for this circle basically, and then after that the child will graduate. Okay, so thank you again for joining me in today's session. Do have a fantastic rest of the evening. Thank you and bye. And yes, have a blessed weekend, because the weekend is just around the corner. Thank you again. Bye for now.